how to just keep hustling, how to keep thinking, like when the times get tough. Times get tough and you're a business owner and business is coming in slow, you still got to make money, still got to pay that mortgage, still got to pay that rent. Like, all these things are coming down on you, and you just have that one source of income, and you're just thinking like, damn, I'm not getting any clients, or I'm not getting any work. Like, what do I do? Do I just sit here in the office and just wait? Do I make phone calls? Like, I need today money, or I need to do something today so that way Friday I can get something coming in. So back 2016, maybe 17, I had a mechanic shop, and I was just starting out, and I didn't have a really big clientele yet. And my mistake is I didn't market to regular clients. I would just depend on car lots bringing me work, or other shops, and then like fleet companies. But when they all got slow, I got slow. And I remember for like a couple of weeks, business was like super slow. And mind you, back then I didn't obviously have the education or experience that I have now. I mean, I had a bachelor's degree in finance, but that's not going to help me with marketing. That's not going to help me get like today money. So at the time, I had applied to be a Lyft driver. And so I would be at the shop during the day, and then as soon as I get off, I'd open up that app, and I'd be driving people all night. And then I got the Uber app. And so now I'm doing Uber and Lyft after work. And it was funny because I would talk to people and they're like, hey, do you do this full time? Like, what do you do? And I'm like, no, I own a mechanic shop. And they're like, damn, like, you own a shop? It was embarrassing. So finally I just started telling people, yeah, like, I just run, Uber or Lyft. It was embarrassing because as a shop owner, I should just be able to work in my shop and bring money in. But I didn't have a very good business plan at the time. I didn't have structure. So I had to do what I had to do. So now, there's so many different things that you can utilize to make extra money. When it's time to hustle, you got to hustle. They have Uber Eats, Favor, Uber, Lyft, all kinds of things. You really gotta really dig deep inside, and take the humility out of it, take the personal pride out of it, and just be like, hey, if my hustle is not going right now, what can I do to compensate that, to bring money right now? How do I get some right now money? And it could be a lot of different things. It doesn't have to be what you're doing in business, because for me, when I was driving Uber and Lyft after work, I was getting tired. I'm just like, man, I'm at the shop all day. Sometimes I had a little bit of work, but just not enough. So I'm working these late evenings, and it really made me think, like, what the hell am I doing wrong? I own a mechanic shop, and I'm driving for Lyft at night. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I was making pretty good money, driving for Uber and Lyft, and I was really surprised. So fast forward, I sold the shop, and I went back to go work at a regular job. I was managing a mechanic shop and got my little salary. I was like, it's cool. Like, I like doing this, but I know I can make more money. Like, still kind of young, like I have energy. And at the time, Bird and Lime, I think it was called Lime, the little scooters came out. And in Austin, I mean, they were hot. They were popping. I mean, so people would get paid for charging these scooters. I mean, I remember driving downtown with people would have trucks like stacked of scooters back there. And I'm just like, damn, but that's going to cost me a lot, like having to go and charge them and then making sure like you have space and then the electric bill. And I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I got to figure out something though, because I had a lot of downtime. I was like, how can I make some extra money outside of my job? And it was funny because Bird rolled out a program where we could fix these scooters, and it was like simple shit like tires or like adjusting the brake, and then they would give you the parts. So I was like, okay. So I had a little SUV and I started doing that. No bullshit. I would make over $1,000 a week just driving around, looking on my little app, seeing what scooters were broke and where they needed to get picked up at. I would take them, but then I had like a 30-minute drive back to my apartment. And I had a garage down there in my apartment, so I would go and I would fix them, and then the next morning I would go back and, drop them wherever, they said to drop. But then it started getting saturated, and I would see more people trying to run and grab these scooters. So I was just like, damn, these guys are stepping on my hustle, because I can only get so much in my little SUV, but these guys are throwing them like in cars and stuff. So I was just like, I know I can get more. So I actually borrowed a little Nissan, it was like a D series truck. The thing was old, little stick shift. I mean, thing barely ran, but I borrowed that truck and I was like, okay, now I can really stack these scooters in the back, right? So then I got even smarter. Downtown, where all the scooters were at, I went and I rented a storage, like a good sized storage down there. So what I would do is I would hustle for a couple of hours. I'd fill up the truck, then I'd haul ass to the storage. I would drop them and then go back. I would do that till probably from 12 to 5. And then that evening I would drop them all off. And then the next morning, at 7, I would get up and I'd run back downtown. I would fix all these because I had kept a little toolbox there. I would fix them. I would go drop them. And then boom, I'd go again. So now I'm making $1,500 a week. And it was crazy because I ended up getting into a fight with the owners of that mechanic shop because they were going downhill. They're gonna have to close, and they didn't want to pay me. But I was like, man, I'm making more money hustling scooters, than I'm working, 50 hours a week out here. So I just started doing that full time, and I did it for a few months. And then one day, just like anything else, you always get that, block right in front of you, that hard stop. You get an email and it says, hey, bring all the scooters back. We're no longer going to outsource this. We're going to open up our own little shop. I guess they realized how much money they were spending on getting these things fixed, and they built a little warehouse, and they hired, full-time techs. And I thought about it for a second, and I was like, well, what if I just go get a job there? But then I was just like, I'm not going to make that kind of money, like I did there. So the hell do I do? Like, that shit was tough. That was like, damn, so I thought about it and I was like, I guess I can do mobile work. So I went to a couple car lots, and I was just like, hey, I have this really expensive scan tool. I have tools. Like, I can come out here and diagnose your cars and program them, and then you send them to your shop, that you guys have. And I did that for a little while. It was okay. It was nice because I didn't have any overhead. I was using the skill and tools that I had, and I was making enough money to survive, but that's just it. I was barely making money to survive doing that, and then I went back and got a corporate job. And then after doing that for a while, I started doing credit repair on the side and then just blew back up. So it was a very humbling experience from that very first time. Hey, good morning, Minnesota, nice. Ooh, girl, you're way up there. I bet it's cold. I'm all complaining about 50 degrees weather. Good morning, Lamont. Yeah, so it was very humbling for me to have to do something that I didn't want to do. And I forgot to mention, this is like the funniest part. So when I was doing that Lyft driving, when I had to a mechanic shop, I bought a car from a friend who got this. It was a little Scion XB, the little SUV. This thing was tricked out. It was lowered. It was purple with flames on it. And like whoever had it before, like decked it out. When you open it, it was all custom. The roof was like a purple, it's like a carpet type material, but it was like flames all up in there. And it was a little 5-speed. The little thing was quick. I remember picking people up and I'd be so embarrassed. They'd be like, hey, I'm looking for you. I'm like, look for the little SUV with the flames. And people would be like, dude, this is so cool. And it was funny because everybody loved it. I was just embarrassed as hell to drive it. But it made me money, so I guess my point is, no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, there's always some kind of way to make today money. It didn't have to be forever, but then there's some people that do Lyft and Uber full time. I was just talking to a guy yesterday. He came by the house and I was programming a computer for him. He does Lyft and Uber full time. Hell, there's a guy here in the neighborhood, like every day comes by. He works for Amazon. He's in his little Beamer. He's got the dog in the back. His dog's always got his head out the window. And he delivers packages every day. I imagine he has like a set route because I literally see him every day in the neighborhood. I don't know what it pays, but this guy is able to hop in the whip every day, take his dog with him, and make money. Like, that is so cool for me to think 10 years ago, what were you able to do besides, your own business, like a brick and mortar business, to be able to make money? People are making money off of YouTube. I used to get paid a little bit off of YouTube, and then I let it go. So I'm working on getting back now. Like, I get paid a little bit from Facebook. But there's just so many ways to make money. And it's crazy because you can make money with literally minimal investment. I'm telling you guys, like, quit thinking small, quit thinking like right here in this little space. You know, you got, if you want to win big, you got to think big. You know, you got to take chances. You're going to take a loss. You know, at some point, it's going to suck, and you're gonna deal with a setback. You know, and it's gonna hurt. I know when I had to sell my shop, that shit hurt like hell. I mean, I was so damn proud because I had such an amazing skill of being a mechanic, but I didn't have an amazing skill of being a business owner, and back then, how to market my services. And it really taught me a lot about being great at one thing is good in your business, but you have to be able to kind of be like a one-man band when it comes to that. You know, at least starting off. I know I talked to a shop owner here locally a couple of months ago. I was going to talk to him about credit repair, and you know, he's just like, man, I'm trying to sell the business. You know, he goes, I'm a great tech. Like, I can diagnose stuff and fix stuff all day long. You know, I'm really good at what I do, but I'm just a horrible business owner. I don't know how to properly run a business. And when I went out there and I was just kind of watching him and talking to him, he's just in the back office. He was just, you know, out there doing shit. I don't even know what he was doing, to be honest with you. But I'm just like, if you just stay in the back office, you never know what's going to go on out there. You know, you have to be involved in the front end and the back end. And sometimes, you know, people always say you don't want to work in your business. You know, man, my mom used to tell me for years, don't let the business run you. You run the business. You know, and sometimes you just got to ask for help. Sometimes you got to hire somebody, you know, on the cheap to help you. You know, so what I'm trying to say is there's so many damn ways to hustle and to make money these days. It's ridiculous. There should be no reason why you say, I can't make money, or like, I'm too busy. That shit, man, we'll talk about that tomorrow. The I'm too busy people. But yeah, that's my chat for this morning. You know, hustle. Even when the times get tough, like, especially nowadays, there's just so damn much to be able to do. There's so many opportunities out there for you to make money, to start a business, to work for yourself. Like, it's crazy. So thank you guys for popping in. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned. We'll try to keep this, you know, live in the mornings going. I love doing these, even if it's just for a short minute, just to kind of get my day going too, you know, try and think of some positivity. So yeah, get out there and hustle, and we'll chat soon.